Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Chris Kelso. Time flies when you're having fun. Last up, but certainly not the least, is Jenna Devers with Devers Delivers. Jenna, how you doing?
Fine. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Well, I couldn't hear you there for a second because I actually pulled out my mic, but that is Jenna Devers with Devers Delivers. Jenna, I got a question. How's everything been with you?
Fabulous. Busy. Always good.
Always good. Let us know a little bit about who you are and what you do before we get started.
Certainly. Well, I am a real estate professional here in Houston. I actually don't have a specific area that I take care of. I've got multiple offices all around the city. I'm located in Cypress, but I help clients all over, south side, north side, wherever they need me.
Well, you know, and I've known you for a long time, and we do a lot of business together. One of the things that I tell everybody is you will not find a better professional in the industry than what you do. I mean, I know the way you take care of your clients. I know what you do on the back end. I know how you negotiate. But it's definitely been a different market here this year. It's been an exciting market. It's been extremely busy, but also there's been some challenges here recently. I mean, one of the things that we're seeing about going on is there's some changes with CFPB and some of the changes. How have you seen change happen this year? Where'd you see real estate 3 years, and now have you seen it this year?
Well, obviously, last few years we've had some ups and downs, mostly downs. And my business is a little bit different. I don't do just residential. I do also a little bit of investment. So for me, when it goes down in one area, it goes up in another. So I'm usually busy all the time. However, this year it absolutely has turned back into a seller's market, and we have had a ton of challenges this year in multiple different areas. One, for example, with the flooding stopped us cold, we obviously there was a lot more challenge there with closing, not necessarily due to the banks having some challenge, but we had to go back through and make sure all the properties were still there, no damage.
That is true.
Which caused a little bit of an issue. And not having enough property to actually sell, having a shortage, and just having it turn from a buyer's market into a seller's market has also gotten sellers a little bit more emboldened to where they're shooting a little higher than the market, which is really not doing them a service at this point.
You know, and that's very interesting because I would absolutely agree with you. You know, at the end of the day, market value is still market value. Whether it be a buyer's market or a seller's market, you still have to price a property right to sell it to maximize value, because you and I have spoken about this. If you price it too high, then it becomes stale. If you price it too low, then what's wrong with it? So you still have to right price it, and that's probably the biggest thing to get across to a lot of the sellers out there who want to put their home on the market today is price it right.
Exactly. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of agents that are looking to get as many listings as possible out there, and they want to please their client and just will go ahead and price it at whatever the client determines. And unfortunately, you're not pleasing your client. You're going to leave something on the market for a very long time. The client's going to get upset. And at the end of the day, they're not going to stay with you. They're going to be very disappointed and terminate the listing, end up going with someone else. And really, you know, marketing, word-of-mouth marketing is the best and worst marketing out there. So it behooves us all to really look at what the market is, look at the particular property, and price it accordingly.
You know, the other thing I want to ask you is, obviously, we've been seeing a lot here in Houston. We get really nervous, and I think we all do when we see the price of oil drop down, when we hear about layoffs that are going on, et cetera, et cetera. However, the real estate market, even though this has been taking place as of January this year, the real estate market really hasn't seen the major hit in regards to this. What are you seeing? What is your forecast, and how has oil and gas affected or not affected your business?
Well, plus and minus, when the oil went over $100 a barrel, yes, there were some layoffs, and it didn't, of course, unfortunately, there are people that did lose their homes and were negatively affected. However, the home sales continue to go up, and now that the price is going down, same thing. Home sales are still going up. So, fortunately for us here in Houston, it really isn't affecting us at this point.
Right. And I tell everybody all the time is the whole misnomer about we're being an oil and gas town. We're still very heavy into that area, but our number one employer is actually healthcare. And so our number two employer is actually retail. Our number three employer is actually the Port of Houston. So oil and gas from an employment perspective is actually a little bit further down. While it represents a large portion of our financial consideration from a gross domestic product, let's say, for Houston, it's actually from an employment perspective doesn't hit us as bad.
Oh, agreed. Being a port city, and we have so many different, it's like a melting pot. We're a port city. We're the fourth largest city in the United States, at least I think we still are. And because we have so much of a melting pot, you're absolutely correct.
Now, what do you see coming up? Obviously, we've got an October 3rd change coming in the mortgage industry. That's going to change a little bit in regards to disclosures and closings. What are your thoughts about some of those changes that are coming up?
It scares me a great deal. I don't want to be the person that, gets on the horse and starts waving the crazy flag. It is very scary in that respect. The change in regards to the 72-hour docs in the hands of the buyers and sellers prior to close, and any change starts that clock over again. The folks of us that have been in the industry for years know that those docs constantly change. In the current practice, unfortunately, we've got closings that the docs don't even go out until a couple of hours before close. It's not just going to affect the real estate companies. It's going to affect all of the companies that touch real estate. That would be the moving companies, the cleaning companies, the electric companies, the utility companies, anything that is connected to a move. That they all have to schedule. And unfortunately, when these keep getting pushed out, they're going to have to start doing something to make up for that lost income. They're already scheduling. They've got people on schedule to come into work, and when they do get pushed back, obviously, if they've got nothing to do all day because 2 or 3 closings got pushed, they've still got to pay their employees. So they're, in my estimation, they're going to have to start charging deposits, non-refundable deposits, which is a little bit of a scare for me.
I would absolutely agree. I think, I'm one of those that say that some of the changes that are coming, I think, are good. The 3-day disclosure ahead of time with the closing disclosure is great. That way a client goes to closing and knows their numbers. I think we have to be prepared, though, for the fact that closings are going to be a little bit longer at the very beginning. There's going to be some delays associated with that, and there's a little bit of walking. We got to walk through these new changes before we run, then we got to, or before we jog, and we got to jog before we run. But I think working with an individual like yourself who knows everything in the industry, who's been around a long time, and who works with experts, that's what's required out there. And
we all have to work together to get it done. It should never be a finger pointing. Everybody's working together to the end goal. And that's why I love working with you and your mortgage company. It's always an easy transition.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that, Gina. We are coming up against the end of the show. How can we reach you, by the way?
Oh, wonderful. Well, you can reach me through my website. It's www.deversdelivers.com. You can contact me on my cell, which my office line is 832-588-7251 or 832-301-9833.
That is Gina Devers with Devers Delivers. You can go to deversdelivers.com. A great individual. Gina, thank you very much for being on board today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And for all those listening, you have tuned into The Price of Business. You can catch this show and all of our shows on priceofbusiness.com. I always enjoy myself here. Until next time, I am out.